there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today I'm going to be doing my weekly reading wrap-up from last week, the 5th of November on a Monday, till yesterday the 11th, which was a Sunday. I read a total of 6 books. I read 2 women's fiction and 4 mystery, suspense, thriller novels. I wanted to get a historical fiction in, but I just didn't get that in this week. So the first book that I read, I was keeping up with the Grant County series for Karen Slaughter. I only have one more book left, so this is the second to the last one, and it is called Faithless. So like I said, it is the 5th book in the Karen Slaughter Grant County series, and so again it is with the detective Jeffrey, the coroner Sarah, and then another detective Lena. But this time it is about basically Jeffrey and Sarah. They are on a walk or something at this lake by her parents' house, and they discover like a spoke out of the ground, like a metal spoke, and they dig the ground and find a coffin, and they find a dead girl in it. She is pretty young and she's pregnant and she's dead. So they're basically trying to figure out who killed this woman and what is the circumstance around it. And there is some kind of connection between her and Lena in regard to Lena has like some affection toward her. And basically they try to investigate the family. The family is almost cult-like, and a lot of suspicious things are going on in their farm that they have. Quite a large family and a business. And so this was a really good story. It was really interesting. I really liked basically the investigation of that family and how it did kind of seem cult-like. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite out of the series, but it was a really good read, and I like how gritty and descriptive her books are in regard to the crime. So I do like this series, and I'm excited to wrap it up and move on to the Will Trent series. And then after that, I read Anytime, Anyplace by Jennifer Probst. This is the 2nd book in the Billionaire Builders trilogy. I picked up the other one I think last month, and it was okay. It was like a 3.5 star read, and again this one is like a 3.5 star read. So it follows another one of the brothers, the Pierce brothers, this time Dalton. I think he's the youngest of the brothers. He does a lot of woodworking for their construction business, and he goes to this bar that they enjoy downtown called My Place, and he has a crush on the owner of the bar named Raven. And he wants to refurbish the bar in the bar. It's like an old bar, and he wants to basically refurbish it and make it look really nice with his woodworking skills. But she has a vendetta against the Pierce brothers because her father got in a car accident with their mother years and years ago, and they both had died, her dad and their mom. And they have no idea that she's the daughter of that man, and they've been like slandering her dad for years. So she doesn't really like them, and so she doesn't want anything to do with them or Dalton in specific. But when she gets offered to do like a piece for like a food magazine, she wants her place to look really good, so she hires Dalton to do the bar for her because that is the only person that she knows that could do a great job. And they have a romance that ensues, but he has no idea who she is, and it might break up their relationship if, you know, he finds out that she's been keeping it from him, or it could bring them together. So I did like it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's not my favorite series, but I am looking forward to completing the series and seeing what else Jennifer Probst has out there. I thought the characters were pretty good, and the like sex scenes are pretty good too, but it definitely was not a favorite. And then after that, I had heard so much about this book, so I finally picked it up, and it is You by Carolyn Kepnes. This is a psychological thriller. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, but it is first person through a sociopath. And his name is Joe. He works at a bookstore, and he meets a girl named Beck one day at his bookstore, and he is talking in second person to you, and he has an obsession of her. He stalks her, he learns everything about her, and he weaves his way into her life and manipulates things going on in her life. And it is pretty creepy, but in a way with how it's written, you are almost like rooting for him because the people in Beck's life are so awful that you don't really like them. You don't really like Beck that much, so you don't feel too bad for her when he's doing these creepy things. And he would not stop at anything to be in her life, even if it meant like killing people. So this was a really creepy read, really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. I really liked Joe as a character. I thought he was a really dynamic character, and like I said, the rest of the cast of characters was pretty unlikable, but it was like I really liked this story. I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I knew I had to pick it up. And then after that, I listened to an audiobook, which I don't ever do, but I have Hoopla, and like my library goes through Libby as well, and there was this as an audiobook. It's called The Wyss Between Us. I've been meaning to pick this up. I've heard great things about it. It is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, and I picked this up at my used bookstore recently, and I just was so drawn to the cover and the concept of it. So it is about 2 women, Nellie and Vanessa. Nellie is in her 20s. She's about to be married to Richard, but this is not his first time being with someone else. So it goes from her and Vanessa. Vanessa is Richard's ex-wife. And so you're going through the perspective of Nellie and Vanessa. And basically it seems like Vanessa is a jealous ex-wife and that Nellie is a really like sweet and endearing young woman. And that Vanessa just can't move on. She's an alcoholic. Her life is a shit show. So it appears that way, but like everything is not as it appears, and this has a huge plot twist, and when I heard it on audio I like had to rewind and re-listen because the plot twist in this is huge. I love this book. It was my favorite read this week, and I loved it on audio. I feel like it added to the suspense, and it was really good. I gave this 5 stars, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give it away, but it was really, really good. And then after that, I read Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter, and this one just came out I think in like August or September, but it is her newest release, and I've heard kind of mixed reviews of this because I've heard it is not like her normal gritty hardcore thrillers, but it was really good. It was just different, and I can't really say how it was different, but it was really different. So it's about a mother and daughter, Laura and Andy. Andy's the daughter. It's her 31st birthday, and they are at a diner within their mall, and a shooting breaks out, and people are dying, and her mom, Laura, acts in a way that she's never seen before to protect her, and she had all these instincts that she didn't know. And she is starting to question who is her mom, and then more things start to happen within the next day or so that she's like, wow, I really don't know my mom. Like, is she who I thought she was for the past 31 years? And she is forced to be on the run, and her mom sends her on a goose chase, and she basically discovers what she didn't know about her mom, basically the pieces of her. And then you have that timeline as well as the mom's timeline from when she was in her early 20s, late teens or something, a college student I think. And it was a really interesting story. It was almost about like a political activist group. So I really did like this, and I gave it 4 stars, but it definitely was not my favorite. I compare all of them to Pretty Girls because that's my favorite, but it was really, really enjoyable, but it was different. I just can't really place my finger on how. And then the last book that I read this week is Lindsay Kelk's newest book called 1 in a Million. I've only read one other book by her, and I really, really liked it. It was called I Heart New York, and this one was just as good. It is about a girl named Annie. She just started up a business with her best friend Miranda. It is a social media marketing business, and it is unfortunately not making much of a profit, and so they need to do something fast to make money. They are up for some awards though for their business because it's a brand new business, and they have this office space in an office building with like lots of different businesses, and one of the businesses across from them like makes fun of them for not being very legitimate and being like internet type of people, like for social media. And so they make a bet with them. Annie makes a bet that basically she can make anyone internet famous within 30 days and get them 20,000 Instagram followers. So they're going to do the next person that walks in the door, and it is this guy named Dr. Samuel Page, and he does not look like someone who could be famous, and even worse, his personality seems pretty unapproachable. So she thinks she's screwed, but the more she gets to know him, she thinks he's a nice guy. And basically, to make him agree to do this Instagram, she offers to help him win back his girlfriend that just broke up with him. So it's like a boyfriend boot camp thing. And as she's trying to make him a better boyfriend, she learns he's a great guy and she really wants to be with him. But she's his friend, so she's kind of in this position where she doesn't know what she should do. And she doesn't think that he likes her. And she wants to win the bet to get free rent. But as well, she really just wants to be with him. So this was a really, really sweet romance. It was really funny. I laughed out loud a lot in this book. It's hard for me to do that with books, but her writing is just really good and I highly recommend. I gave this 4.5 stars. So those are all the books that I read this week. I'd love to hear what you guys have been reading, and I will link all of them down below. They're Goodreads as well as mine if you want to see my reviews for them. And I will see you guys all in my next one. Bye.